Ciao, my dear friends. Welcome to another meeting with the Roundtable, Motogp Roundtable with Michel Turco from France. Hi, Michel. How are you doing?
Hey, ciao, Franco. I'm okay. What about you?
It's fine. Very sad, but we keep fighting. We have to keep fighting. Matt Oxley from UK. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Ciao, Franco. Very well. Hope you are well too.
Nice to see you. Thank you very much. Giovanni Zamagni from Italy. Ciao, Zio. Zam.
Ciao Franco, ciao a tutti. Hello everybody.
Ciao, ciao, Zam. Nice to see you. Smile. Manuel Pesino from Spain. Hi, Manuel.
Ciao, ciao. Just wanted to tell Matt, because we are an hour in advance. The future in an hour looks the same. No worries.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, guys. Now we have to talk about this championship 2020 that seems to be moving. I don't know if you have the same sensation, but something seems to be evolving somehow. Who wants to start? Max, you want to say your opinion about that? Matt?
Well, yeah, I mean, just from what we, it's a strange situation really, because we kind of, it's very hard to, normally we're in the paddock and there's 200 people we can go around and speak to and say, what have you heard? What have you heard? But now it's very difficult to get more than one or two opinions, really. But yeah, what do we see? We see that Formula One says that they're going to start in July at the Red Bull Ring. And if that happens, then presumably Motogp can go to the Red Bull Ring in August. So that seems, if that happens, that's fantastic. I still struggle to understand how it will happen, but I don't know. Maybe somebody else knows.
Yeah, guys, don't you have the sensation that somebody must know something that we don't know? I have this strange feeling, you know what I mean? There must be something that we still don't know, but hopefully. Do you think so, Michel, Sam, and Manuel?
Yeah, I was quite pessimistic a few days and few weeks ago, but yeah, we can feel now a strong will from Dorna and as well as IRTA to have some races this season. I think that Carmelo understood that without any races, he will be in a very bad situation regarding the TV right, because if there is no race, nobody wants to pay. And if nobody paid, it will be difficult for him to help the team to survive. So yeah, the will is here, and I think they try to find solution. I spoke with Carmelo last week, and also with Hervé Poncharal from the IRTA president, and yeah, they told me that they are planning different scenario. The best one will be to start, I think, in what they feel in August, and like said Matt. It seems that the Red Bull Ring will be the best place, especially because they will organize a Formula One race in July. So they will understand how it works, how many people can live together in the paddock, where they can sleep, eat. So it will be a good test to see. So yeah, I think that August will be the best scenario to start the championship, and then having a few races around. Maybe we can stay 2 weeks in Austria and having 3 races during these 2 weeks. It's also the plan they are trying to find. So let's see. Yeah, we have to be optimistic anyway.
What about you, Zam and Manuel?
I'm not optimistic. Perhaps because I'm living in Italy, and every day in Italy is changing from the day before. And they say as today they say as one thing, and in 2 hours they will say a thing completely different. And so it's not easy in Italy, the situation. And from here, I cannot understand how we can do the race. For me, from Italy, it will be very difficult to move in the other country, because there is another problem. Perhaps you can go in another country, but when you come back, what they will do? You have to do the quarantine. I don't know if say in English quarantine, yes, or you can do everything like before. I spoke with Lucio Cecchinello. They said to me that they are ready to do the race with 25 people instead of 40 people. So the team are organizing to do this, but I don't think that it will be so easy.
Okay, I think, Manuel, that the concerns of Zam, I understand him because I live in Italy as he does. So we have a major problem here that our government doesn't know what to do always. They never know what they have to do. So the problem, I understand Zam, but I think that hopefully Dorna has a different involvement with the other governments, because we have a problem here, but it's a political problem. I just want to know, as Spain is quite similar to Italy, but I know that something is moving forward faster than in Italy. I want to know your opinion regarding the starting of the season.
Yes, I think that we have, I don't know who has imported who, but we have the same problem with our politicians than you in Italy, you know. But I stick on the positive part of the story. And if it's true what Michelin says, that or suggests that there will be more than one race in Austria, imagine how the smiling Gigi Dall'Igna's face at this moment.
And the riders too, yes.
He would push for 3, maybe.
Maybe 10.
Yes, starting to talk about the riders. Oh, sorry, Zam, you were saying something.
No, I think that it's not possible to do 3 races or 4 or 5 or 2 in Austria. What Yamaha say about this? I think that they have to have an agreement with all the team, all the factory. Of course, the situation is an emergency situation, but I cannot think that Yamaha could be accepted to race 2 or more races in Austria, for example.
Michel and
So,
Matt.
yeah, maybe Carmelo can ask each factory to choose one track, and we can do six. If we can have 6 tracks and have 3 races, we can have 18 races. Why
Yes,
not?
Marquez would choose Sachsenring for sure.
Yeah. If we have the championship at Red Bull Ring, for sure it's Ducati will be world champion. If we go to a left-hand circuit, for sure Marquez will be a world champion. So it's a huge issue. And I kind of wondered, although the idea is to run the season or start the season in Europe, you know, as Giovanni was saying, you know, something at the same time doesn't seem right. That, you know, the situation still seems far too bad and far too complicated to make this happen. It's all very well hoping, and let's hope it does happen. But I still think, you know, we're still also looking at that kind of doomsday scenario of having a championship that takes place at one track, maybe later in the year. You know, if Austria in August isn't possible, and I think somewhere like as Michel was saying, we have problems with hotels, with eating, all these problems. You know, you might have somewhere like Sepang might be perfect, because you have the airport, and next to the airport you have the hotel, which is big enough to hold the entire MotoGP paddock if it goes to one class, and the track is right next to right next to the airport. So you could contain the whole championship without it spreading into the country, into the rest of the country. I mean, in Austria, there's no big hotels around the Red Bull.
Yeah, but
The paddock would need 20, 30 hotels. They're all small hotels. So I guess those hotels are going to want the business, but is that really a good idea? You know,
nice.
I know you people will have to have certificates that they are COVID negative before, but it still seems to me like, well, I'm not sure any regional governor would say, yes, bring 1,000, 2,000 people, please. Yeah, I don't know.
Matt, we can have some. You can bring your own tent. You know, we were speaking yesterday with Manuel. I think. Oh, Giovanni, you know what is Dakar, so you have been there, so you know we can adapt, I think. But effectively, we need places with a big paddock. For example, I can imagine a Grand Prix in Sachsenring, because the paddock is so small. You will have everybody too close. So if you have a big place, I mean, we can adapt to have tent, even a motorhome, or I don't know. I mean, but the main thing you were speaking about your situation in your country, but in France is the same. But the main problem is that we don't have masks, we don't have tests. So it's just a matter of logistic. The day that we will have enough tools to control our own health, it will be easier to travel and you know to keep the measures that we have to keep.
I know that Carmelo. I don't know if he has already bought it, but I know that he has given the order to buy 15,000 tests. 15,000 tests. If the paddock goes down to 1,000, it's 15 races.
Yes, but I think, sorry, Franco, I think that the problem is not Carmelo. Carmelo can vote what he can and he wants, but the problem is the government of each country. Because if the government said we don't want races or sports or activities with, you can do nothing, I think.
Yeah. That's the meaning of what I said before, maybe, that Carmelo must know something that we actually don't know, and maybe it's correct that we don't know anything about that. Maybe some is trying to contact these countries and to see which of them are they agree, which of them agree to have the MotoGP in a shorter and a smaller size. Michel, you said more than once. We are. That means that something has changed for you, journalists. I mean, you think you will be involved in this in the start of the season, the MotoGP season, because last time you were telling us about the chance that the journalists are not allowed to the first races.
I don't know at all. I think it's going to be difficult to have all the journalists, but I dream that we. At least the permanent media, the one who follows the championship for I mean, the closest could be on seats, but I don't know. It's just a wish.
So you do all agree with Michel, Matt, yes. Manuel, and Zam. Okay.
Yes.
What about it?
Yes, sorry. I want just to comment. Speaking with Michel about us in the press room, he suggested that we should take our own tents and sleep in the press room. And then he mentioned in Austria. Remember, at the end of the press room, this huge area. Imagine us all sleeping in tents there. Would be funny.
Yes, it would. What do you think about the riders? Talking about the races and the riders, how do you think they will approach the start of the season? You have been talking to many riders in these few weeks. So, what's your sensation about their feelings? You will start with Matt. Okay.
Well, I think they all, for sure, they want to test. And there's been talk about a test at Jerez at the end of July. But I think moving stuff around is going to be a huge problem. If the season's going to start in Austria, then surely they would have a test in Austria, you know. And which again brings us back to Sepang, because you know there's only two tracks where people have already tested this year, and that's Sepang and Qatar. So yeah, I mean, for sure you need at least a 1-day test for the riders to get back into the, you know, before you can't just go straight into FP1. So you would need a single-day test at the minimum. So if they're going to start in Austria, they would need to probably go there 1 week early and then have a test. I mean, who knows how they're going to organize it, but for sure they'll need a test, because it just wouldn't really be safe, I don't think, to go straight into FP1. Sure. You know, to go straight into a high-pressure situation where nobody's ridden a motorbike for months, you know.
Yeah, but yes. Matt, I think that maybe they could, they could test on Wednesday before the race, or Tuesday, Wednesday, so they are still at the place, you know. And regarding the rest, I think for me it will be very interesting to see how the riders will face the first race. You know, will they be conservative? Will they go for it from the minute? I mean, I think the guys who have a real chance will race more conservative. Others like Miller and riders who can take profit of the situation will go out with fully boosted, I think.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like say Manuel, some riders will take profit of the situation, and some of them have to show. We were speaking about the contract last week. Imagine if you have only 6 races or 7 races, and you have riders that they know that they have only 5 or 6 races to show what they can do, and they want to get a ride for next year. It could be crazy. It could be crazy. It could be also dangerous, like said Matt. So I think we need more than one day test before the first race. We need at least 2, and maybe why not adding 1 session for each Grand Prix. If we have to spend more days on the track, you can easily imagine to have test on Thursday. I don't know.
Yes, of course, the situation is like you said, everybody said. I think that it is necessary to do a test before the race. It is necessary. All the riders ask for this. And it's changed the situation from how many races we will do. If we will do 10 races, the situation, it could be similar to the past. If they will program 6 races, the situation can be completely different. And so it's difficult now to imagine this, but I think that at the end, 6 races, 10 races, 5 races, at the end, in the front, there are always the same riders, in my opinion. The stronger ones.
Yes. This is an important issue because once the championship gets started, I ask you what said also Zam. Do you think that this championship will be a normal championship, or we will face complaints? We will start to listen in the press conference. But if there was not the COVID, but all this changement, are we going to face a very strange championship anyway, or not, Max? And then I go to Michel, Manuel, and Zam.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very different. And if it's, the fewer races there are, the more pressure there is at each race. And for sure, pressure brings all kinds of things, on the riders, on the teams, on the factories. So for sure, it'll be very different. But I as Zam said, I tend to think that, once there's points on the table, the fast guys will be fast. I don't see kind of the sort of desperate, crazy guys making the difference. I don't know. I just think, once there's 25 points there, the best guys will be just as tough and hard as they are always. But yeah, I mean, for sure there will be controversy. Of course there will be. And that will be the interesting thing, that if the media aren't allowed there, the sort of independent media, let's say, it will be interesting how those kind of stories develop. Because, normally when we're at a race, we go around and we speak to dozens and dozens of people every weekend, some on the record, some off the record. You find out one thing off the record from somebody, and then you go and check it with somebody else, and then you go and check it with somebody else. So to get the stories, we all know what it's like. You have to do a lot of digging and a lot of running around. And if we're not there to do that, it'll be interesting to see what the kind of media landscape is, what the talk is, what the sort of stories we get to hear, how different that is. I mean, for all our benefits, I hope it's a negative, that everybody going, my God, there's no good stories coming out, So for sure, I think it'll be different on many, many, many levels.
Okay, Manuel, Michel, and Zam.
I agree in all, but I think that in this situation, we will see riders in the front that we normally wouldn't see. And I think that the top guys would be more conservative, I think. And I think these guys like, let's say, Miller, like Mir, they have to show, or they maybe, if I were them, I would take profit of the situation, because they have not that much to lose than the top guys. This is what, and I expect it to happen.
I think we will face a situation that nobody can predict because you were speaking about Jack, Manuel. Jack is riding his motocross bike in Australia. I think he's only one to be able to train.
Only one, yes.
To train, yes. So I listened to Valentino last week because Yamaha organized a kind of interview with Matthew Burt. And it was interesting to listen that what he said that he is 41 years old, and this is the first time in his life that he spent so long without being on a bike. You can imagine. So this is something nobody knows. Even him said, I don't know what will be my feeling when I will come back. Don't speaking about Motogp bike, but just a bike to train, to use the brakes, the throttle. So it will be difficult. It is difficult to predict what will be the behavior of all the riders. So I think it will be. This is what it will be funny to watch, but maybe too much stress for the riders.
And so done.
But yes, I think the same. But I want to ask you one thing. In your opinion, if we will do, for example, 6 races or 8 races, it is necessary to change the system points. I mean, it's always correct to give 25 points to the first one and 20 to the second one and so on, or you have to adapt the points to the different situation, because it's different to have a championship with 20 races or 19 races and 25 points for each victory, or to have just 6 races. Just ask. I have not the answer.
The question is super interesting. I didn't think about that, but yeah, look, it makes sense. But the problem is I think, is to put to make 6 factory agree in the decision. Yeah. But the what he put on the table is super interesting.
Yeah, but somewhere they have to arrive. I mean, they have to take decisions together. Otherwise, we will never come to a point. No.
Yeah, I can't see them. It's going to be complicated organizing it enough as it is, organizing the races, let alone bringing in the kind of let's discuss about the point situation. I think there's going to be plenty to discuss as it is. And yeah, the factories have to work together better than they've ever done to make this happen. And as we were talking about earlier, that it is important to find tracks that are kind of as neutral as it's possible to be. The Red Bull Ring, of all the places to start the championship, we've had 16, 17, 18, 19, 4 Grand Prix there, and Ducati's won every single one. So, that's just like, all the other factories must be going, no, so there's going to have to be a lot of careful negotiations, and they're going to have to be, I think they all understand that they need to be thinking about the championship rather than themselves, but only up to a point. So it's going to create some very interesting situations. It really is. All these problems have sort of they bring up situations that you would never have guessed. The law of unintended consequences, basically.
I was going to ask you something regarding the satellite riders, but somehow Manuel and all you guys already told about Miller, which is actually a satellite riders. But in order to make the situation clearer, do you think the satellite riders will have more opportunity in this very, very special season, whenever it will be?
For me, no. It's like before. I mean, in the last year, the satellite team has a very good situation, technical situation. Main satellite team, I think, to Ducati with Miller, for example, or Yamaha this year and the last year with Morbidelli and Quartararo, and Honda with Crutchlow. Crutchlow has almost the same bike of the official team, the factory. So I think that they have the same possibilities than before, in my opinion.
Michel?
Yeah, I think the gap between in terms of bikes and the level is quite similar now. But for sure, the satellite riders could be less affected by the less number of people around them, because the situation could affect more the factory rider, because they used to work with a lot of engineers. And so if they can get less people around them, maybe they will be more affected. But what will be also the balance between the Japanese factory and the European factory? I think it would be more difficult for the Japanese to travel. So maybe they will have to work with less key people, let's say. So yeah, it's another point that is difficult to predict, I think.
Okay, Matt?
The big thing that, the big engineering thing now in MotoGP is electronics. And, you can do that at home. They can do it live. They can have all the strategists. Most of the factories already do. They have strategists working in the garage, but they also have guys back at the factory. So you would just increase the number back at the factory. So I'm not sure that would make a big difference. I think it's like when you get a wet practice session and you get an independent rider fastest, and everybody goes, wow, that's amazing, and so on. And it is. But, then you get to a wet race, and Marquez and, all the normal fast guys, when it matters, when it counts, the fast guys are always fast. So I would be very surprised if the situation on track is that different. But who knows? I mean, that's all, that's one of the kind of joys of this situation. Well, about the only joy, in fact, that it's a completely new world, which is, everyone likes unpredictable situations in sport. And that's what we've got here,
Well,
I go back to Michel.
Sorry, once again, I have to, this time I don't agree with my colleagues. I expect something special. That's it.
Yeah, like said Manuel, I think this championship will be different. Anyway, all the riders know that it will be something different. So I don't think they will get in this championship like a normal championship with a long-term strategy, with 10 months races. They will know that, okay, this is something they have to show. They have to be there to save the championship. So I think there will be the common sense should make everybody thinking that we are here to save the championship. So do our best and don't try to be so, controversies.
But Michel, don't you think that the common sense for Marquez is very different than the common sense for Mir or Miller again? They have different targets. So I expect to see something really tough.
Yeah, for sure, Mark will be once again in the best position because he has a 4 years contract in front of him. We know how he's able to race in different conditions. So for sure he will be once again the rider to beat, but he won't change nothing for him.
So you were talking about Valentino Rossi that had this chat with Viñales last week. I would like to know something regarding his age. I mean, he should be the wiser guy, of the group. Zam, how do you think he will approach the start of the season? Because 41 years old is different than 25. So this could be a great issue also for him, or maybe not.
I expect many difficulties for Valentino in the first races because when we come back to Sepang in February every year, for him is the worst test in the season because for him it's more complicated than for the other rider to find the rhythm. Yes. And I think that for him it would be more difficult than the other riders, but not just for the age, because for Valentino is more difficult to exactly
get back. Okay.
Exactly, and I think that it will be not easy for him. But I also think that nothing change a lot for him because I think that he will continue to race in the next year, and probably he will decide before the first race that we will do. I think.
Okay, Matt.
It's
Matt. Sorry,
Yeah.
Michel. You can go, and then we go to Matt. You decide.
yeah,
Guys.
it's what he said. It's what he said during the chat, the Yamaha chat. He said that he will have to decide what is his future before to start to race. So yeah, it's not an easy situation, and obviously it will be more difficult. I agree with Giovanni. It will be more difficult for him to jump back on the bike after so many weeks, months being at home.
Yeah, Valentino's always been one to kind of, he slowly gets up to speed. He's not like Stoner or Marquez where he just goes out and boom, he can just go, he's always has to kind of get into the groove. And that's one reason why he's, one of his biggest problems in the last, when it came in, the new qualifying format, kind of has had a disastrous effect on Rossi's career, especially in 2015, when he just still cannot get into that 15-minute thing, where you just have to go out, kind of brain out and just gas it. He's used to kind of spending the old hour qualifying session, and he gets faster and faster and faster and faster, and then bang. But so I think it will be a problem for him. But then again, like we don't know. Who knows? He might kind of surprise us.
Manuel, do you think it's okay? It's correct that he has to decide before the starting of the season? I mean, wouldn't it be more natural that after 2, 3, or 4 races he decides to stay, or he has a contract that he has to say it before the starting of the season? Maybe I didn't get this one.
Well, this is something that is in Valentino's head, of course. But if you just analyze the situation, basically 2020 is not a normal season. So for me, it was quite clear that he would stick another one.
Yes.
Okay. So nothing is going to change. I was thinking also about this tenderness amongst between Valentino and Viñales. They seem to get along so well, and sometimes you go back with your mind, to what happened also with the other partners of Valentino in the past. When the situation is going towards the end, all these laughs and this tenderness come out. But when you go back just 1 or 2 years ago, there were not so many laughs in the box and maybe in the hospitality. So it makes me laugh too, no? Do you have an opinion regarding that? Is it okay? Is it normal that the situation goes like this after a while? Okay, Tom, you can go, and then we go to Matt, Michel, and Man.
But I think that the situation is changed because Viñales is changed from the last 2 years. I think that in this moment, Viñales feels more strong, more under control inside the box. And so I think that this is the principal reason, because Viñales now is more stronger than before from the psychological point of view.
Okay, but do you all think that it's just because Viñales has grown up, or just or also because Yamaha attitude towards Viñales has changed? I don't know who wants to answer.
Well, it's linked. Viñales is in a better psychological situation because he feels that he has the completely support of the factory. That's it. And regarding the smiles and the haha and the hihi, we are all veterans, so we know, especially with Valentino, which is not a sin. It's just his character. Valentino likes to win, and so for him, making second is losing. So this smile is for the theater.
Okay, Matt.
It's the same with all racers, aren't they? They all have different characters, but basically, yeah, that that their whole being at a racetrack in front of the cameras and everything is all, it's a theatre. They have to, the way they react to different riders depends on their relationship with the rider. When they're fighting each other, quite often they kind of hate each other because it's easier to fight somebody that you hate than someone you like. But as soon as they're not fighting each other anymore, then they can become friends. So, it's an incredibly complicated, and that's one of the delights of covering racing, that it's such a vicious, aggressive sport on the track, and then it becomes this sort of human theatre of it, which is one of the really beautiful things about it, seeing how different characters interact with each other and the long-term stories going on between different riders who kind of hate each other one year and they like each other the next, and then all just depends on the situation. Michelle.
Yeah, it's a kind of a Darwinian evolution, no? Some kind of Darwinian evolution. Michelle, you can go.
Yeah, I think they both play what they have to play, because Valentino has to show that he's a nice rider, he's a smart guy. He has to show that he is not affected by the fact that he is pushed outside the factory team, because don't forget that Lin and Sumi said that he has to leave to let his seat to Fabio. So yeah, he has to show that okay, he's a veteran of championship, he's a kind of godfather, so it's normal for him to let the seat to a young rider. So he has to show this, but for sure inside, I'm not sure that he's so happy with that. And it's obvious that Maverick also is now happy that because he's Valentino outside, he will be the number one. I mean, he feels that he will be the number one. But let's see what will happen when Fabio will be with him. I think he will be less relaxed than he is now.
Franco, it's not casual that a French guy says this. It's just not casual, and just wanted to point. I think the best situation to remember what happened with Dovizioso and Petrucci in Mugello. Before the race, they were brothers. The face of Dovi after the race was a face of somebody who was upset, But this is how it is.
It's not. It's like it has to be, maybe. Okay. Before letting you go, guys, do you have any indications regarding the World Superbike Championship and the Endurance World Championship? Anything Michelle? Maybe you can tell us something.
It has been announced regarding the EWC, the Endurance Championship. It has been announced this morning that the 8 hours of Suzuka are postponed to the 1st November. So this is a big change. And because the championship was supposed to end in September in Paul Ricard with the Boldor. And now, once again, the Suzuka 8 hours should be the last race of the championship to the 1st November, and that means that the Sepang 8 hours, who were supposed to start the new season, are postponed to January, maybe the week before the Motogp test. So yeah, some change. Regarding the Superbike, from what I understood, listening to some key people and some team manager, I think we are going to have no championship this season.
I have the same opinion.
Matt, in the UK, this is a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, because Superbike is like a British championship, basically, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I hadn't even heard that, but it's just finishing the Grand. I'm looking at the Grand Prix Championship, the season. The last few races. Motogp on the 18th of October, Phillip Island on the 25th, Sepang on the 1st of November, Kota on the 15th of November, Argentina on the 22nd of November, Valencia on the 29th of November. I mean, how is that going to be possible to make that? To me, it just, I mean...
No, this calendar has to be forgotten.
Not just the rider. It's the people you actually have to think about more are the mechanics and so on, who are actually working longer hours, and and if they make a mistake, is every bit as important and possibly dangerous as if a rider makes a mistake. So how are you going to expect those people to work under that pressure with reduced staff. So everybody's going to have to work harder. How you're going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races over 7 or 8 weekends in all across the world.
Yeah,
I mean, it just seems impossible to me.
Impossible.
I don't know. So yeah, as for Superbike, I don't know. It's everything's kind of coalescing towards, you know, October, November, isn't it? And you know, something has to give. There's just no way that everything's going to be able to happen. And of course, you know, MotoGP will take first preference.
Right. What about the money support? We've been talking about the help from Dorna to the teams of Moto2, Moto3. Do the World Superbike team, the smaller, do they get any help from Dorna, or they will be left to themselves? You do know something about that?
I don't know nothing.
No idea.
So nobody knows everything.
There's some talk that I think of GP1 that they might try to run Superbike with MotoGP.
Wow.
I mean, you know, could they run it at the same track on a different day?
Matt, they try already to reduce to 1,000 MotoGP. Imagine adding Superbike. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Michelle.
last thing, MotoGP has to exist because the TV right. Superbike and AWC, the TV right doesn't exist. So if you have a race without any spectators, it has no meaning. I mean, there's no meaning. We can imagine MotoGP races without any spectators, with door closed, but for the Superbike and endurance, I mean, in my opinion, it's impossible.
And it's also complicated. It's also complicated for the sponsor because the two championships has a different sponsor. So you cannot race, I don't know, with BMW, for example, or Michelin or Pirelli, for example. It's too complicated.
Yes, and plus for the advertising on the track, which is going to be very, very difficult to manage. Yes, Matt.
So have people heard that there might be no World Superbike round? I thought I heard somebody say that. There's a
It's what I when I listen some interviews from team manager and so it's just a feeling. No, there is no announcement or anything. It's just my feeling. Well, from what I understood, listening to people's and to Superbikes people, I don't see any races.
Exactly. I feel I have the same information, the same sensation.
All right.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for being with us. It's been so nice hearing from you. I just say, yes, Manuel, sorry.
I just want to throw a question inside. If I don't know if my colleagues know something. Do you have heard or do you know if Jorge Lorenzo is going to ride as a wild card in the first race or something?
I think that it's not possible, Manolo. There is, they have not decided for the wild card if they will do the World Championship. So before they have to decide if this year will be some wild card or not.
Perfect. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Meet you next week at the MotoGP Roundtable. Thank you, Matt, Zam, Michelle, and Manuel. Bye-bye. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Ciao, guys. See you next week.
Ciao. Ciao.